Hey! So today I'm going to show you 4 thick smoothie bowl recipes that are easy to blend in a cheap blender. So I've had all sorts of cheap shitty blenders over the years. My last one even almost caught on fire. It started smoking like crazy while it wasn't even on. Like I wasn't even using it. So yeah, that was not good. So I've recently upgraded to a way better quality blender because I was just fed up with it. So that's the one that I'm using in this video. This was actually my first time actually using it. But all of these recipes have been tried and tested in the cheap blender that I had, and I also tried them in a food processor that I had at some point. Some of these recipes I've been making for years, and yeah, they are really good and really tasty. So I've got 4 recipes for you today, and they all have a different difficulty to blend. So the first 2 ones are a bit harder to blend if you have like a medium quality blender, and the last 2 ones are really easy to blend if you have like the cheapest blender out there. So I wanted to give you a few choices because everyone has a different type of blender and they all blend differently. So I wanted to be able to just create a few recipes so that each and every one of you can at least like make 1 or 2 of these recipes. So a few tips before we start the recipes. So I cut my bananas into very thin slices before I freeze them, which makes them way easier to get out of the freezer if you've frozen larger portions, and it also makes them way easier to blend. So make sure the bananas are really ripe before you freeze them. So they need to have a lot of brown spots on the skin, and that will make these smoothie bowls taste really good. Also, if you have a food processor, I would rather use a food processor than a cheap blender for this. I found that food processors blend the frozen fruits way easier than a blender, so use that if you have one. Anyways, the first bowl is this thick green smoothie bowl. This one is definitely the hardest to blend of all 4 of the recipes. The frozen kale is very thick and it can be pretty hard to blend. So to make it easier to blend, I like to put out my frozen ingredients on the counter just to thaw a bit for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then add them to the blender and just blend. So you can use a tamper if you have one to push the ingredients down a bit, which makes it just a bit easier for the blender to blend. So if you don't have a tamper, just stop your blender a few times and scrape down the sides with a spoon and then just push the ingredients down. Once you're done, you get this super thick smoothie. So you don't taste the kale at all because of the peanut butter, so don't worry about that. Or you can also swap the frozen mango for some frozen mixed berries. That's a really good combination with the kale as well. Next one is this Mermaid bowl. So this one is also a bit harder to blend than the last 2 recipes in this video. So for this one, I also let my frozen ingredients thaw on the counter for 15 to 20 minutes. So I did add some blue spirulina to this one. It doesn't taste like anything. I'm using flavorless spirulina, so you don't have to add it if you don't want to. I basically just add it because it gives the bowl a pretty color, but feel free to skip that if you don't have it. So I added some homemade granola on top and some fruit and some coconut flakes. So I'll link the granola recipe in the description box below. So this bowl is a really refreshing one, and yeah, it's super tasty and very thick and creamy. So next up are the 2 recipes that are super easy to blend. They blend in pretty much any kind of blender. And yeah, they are still super creamy and really thick. So the first one is this chocolate one. And oh my god, this is literally the best one. Like if you try any of these recipes, try this one because it's so creamy and the chocolate flavor is so deep and just so tasty. I also added some chocolate chips in the end that I just stirred in. Feel free to skip these if you don't want to add them, but I quite like them in here. So this last one is also a really tasty one. It's this cherry chocolate one, and cherry and chocolate is such a good combination. Like, I don't know, those flavors just go really good together, I think. And yeah, it's super creamy and thick and yeah, just really tasty. It's kind of a bit different than your standard like fruity smoothie bowl. I really like it, so if you like cherry, definitely try this one. So I topped this one with some apricot, some chocolate hearts, and then also some almonds. And yeah, that's all of these smoothie bowls. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like the recipes and that they work for you in your blender. And yeah, until next time, bye!